Hello, everybody. It is the Popper J, and I am back with another Pioneer deck, and this is Pioneer Sultai Elves. So I know back in the day we used to have a standard blue-black Elves deck that used Shaman of the Pack for value, and that was a really cool deck. But I think we should go into a Sultai just a little bit for a couple cards, just because they help the deck out so much, in my opinion, and because, well, trying new things is what we need to do in Magic the Gathering. Going through the creatures, we got eight 1 mana elf dorks, so Elvish Mystic and Llanowar Elves, two play sets. We got Dwynen's Elite, which is 2 mana 2/2, enters the battlefield if you control another elf, create a 1/1 elf. That's amazing. So it's 3 power for 2 mana if you have the other elf, which could be a Llanowar Elf, an Elvish Mystic, or whatever it needs to be. That's amazing. It's 2 bodies, and those 2 bodies help when you have an Elvish Clancaller. So for a 2 mana, you get a 1/1 that is an elf Lord, but you may search your library for a card named Elvish Clancaller and put it into the battlefield and shuffle your library for 6 mana. That isn't you probably aren't going to end up doing that, but if you need to, if you have nothing else to do and you have an extra 6 mana just lying around, you can tap the 6 mana, put it out. It adds more to your board state, and it's just you already have 4 of them in the deck, so that's extra value in a way. You have Elvish Visionary, a 2 mana 1/1 elf that enters the battlefield and draws a card. So, although it's lower for its converted mana cost, people even play the vampire version of this, and it pings you one. So you know this is a really good card. It replaces itself. It it replaces itself. That's it. So adds a body to the board and replaces itself. We ran 3 of those. You don't want to have too many in your hand. You don't want to start the game Elvish Visionary up, then Elvish Visionary. So you only want maybe one in your hand. It's really good, especially if you hit it off like a collected company. This is one of the cards that I'm splashing blue for. It is Mirror Image. So there are a lot of cards in the deck that you want more than playsets of, and this really fits into that slot. Also, when you're running one ofs, it will allow you to get more than that one of on the battlefield if need be. It's really good, especially if you pair it with Shaman of the Pact. You can have a Shaman of the Pact on the battlefield with 2 other elves, play a mirror image, deal another 4 damage, play another mirror image, do another 5 damage, and that will start like adding up, especially if you hit them off collected companies. Um, Dwynen, Shaman of the Pack, obviously. Oh, Reclamation Sage. Let's get to Reclamation Sage. This you might think is a sideboard card, but in this meta, there are multiple decks running a card called Smuggler's Copter and Heart of Kirin. Both of those cards are artifacts that are vehicles. So if you know anything about Pioneer, you've been dealing with them for a minute. This is as a one of that can be searched up with Collected Company or Chord of Calling or a Neoform if so be that will destroy one of those. It's very good. So as a one of in the main deck that can also, if you are running into multiple of them, you can mirror image the Reclamation Sage and then ping them again. There's also why blue white control their removal packages is enchantments. So they can enchant one of your creatures, getting rid of it. Then you can Reclamation Sage, getting rid of that enchantment on your creature, getting your creature back, and then there you go. You just definitely you 2 for 1 to them right there. So that's very good. Shaman of the Pact, we already went over this. It's just amazing, especially if you have like 5, 6 elves on the battlefield, which you might if you get some Dwynen elites. You can mirror image another Dwynen's elite, and as long as they don't have a board wipe, you're just gonna win the game from there. You can get Dwynen herself, which is another lord. I have it in here because although it's a little costly at 4 mana, you can Neoform a Chord of Calling into it. Also, if you're going up against Burn and you really need it, you can take the Neoform, get rid of the Reclamation Sage, go grab it, and then the next time you swing, wada boom, wada bing, you gain like 4 life, and then aggro is going to have an issue with you. And then there's Poison Tip Archer, another card you're just going to want to search up whenever you think you're going to get board wiped or whenever the board state is getting clogged up. Because what if they're at like 9 life and you have 9 creatures? No matter what, when you swing in, you're going to kill them because if they block, they're gonna die. So a 4 mana 2/3 with Reach and Death Touch, that's amazing. And whenever another creature dies, each opponent loses 2 life. So if they remove this right away, you're just kind of screwed. You're not going to get any value out of it. But if you Chord of Calling it in at the end of their turn and go to your turn and swing, or if you Chord of Calling it in while they're in the middle of combat after they're trying to swing for lethal or something, you bring it in and you kill them while they're killing you or something, or while you block. It's just amazing. Neoform, As an additional cost to it, you have to sacrifice a creature. Then you search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sacrificed creature's converted mana cost. Put that card into the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. Then shuffle your library. It's really good, especially when we have three 1-drops. I mean, 3 1-ofs in the deck that you might want to search up, whilst also having cards like Mirror Image that'll go on to them. Also, once you get down your first Shaman of the Pact, you're going to want to get more Shaman of the Pacts down. So maybe you'll go ahead and you'll sacrifice the Dwynen Elite or the Elvish Visionary. Go grab another Shaman of the Pact, and then you're going to deal a whole bunch more damage. So it basically it almost is never a bad draw because as long as you have creatures on the battlefield, it's gonna hit something up. You can swing with it, go to your main phase 2, and then get it back or get a new creature. It's almost always worth it, especially if you have only a Reclamation Sage and it's a dead card on the battlefield. You can turn that Reclamation Sage into a Poison Tip Archer or Dwynen, and that's going to be amazing. Chord of Calling, when we're going to have a whole bunch of elves out, so we can just convoke it for free. We're going to be able to grab even our 4-drops, but we might even not need to grab the 4-drop. Maybe at the end of their turn, we're going to want to grab another Shaman of the Pact and kill them. And it's instant speed, so you get to do it on their turn. It has convoke, so you can grab whatever you need. It doesn't care if the card's green. I know I think Green Sun Zenith or something like that cares if the card's green. So you can grab a Mirror Image if you want to. It doesn't matter. It's just really good. So yeah, it's really good. And then Collected Company is another instant, but for 4 mana, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put up to 2 creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from them onto the battlefield and put the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. So in the main deck, we run 6 other spells that can be hit, and then 2 creatures that can be hit. But all of this right here, so a total of 28 of the creatures, which is almost half of the deck, can be hit. Almost half should mean almost half of the cards in the top 6 should be creatures. So there's a good chance that you'll get your 2 creatures out of it. If not, you still, as long as you get 1 creature off of it and don't whiff, it's a good card, especially if it hits something like a Shaman of the Pact and it just wins you the game. Going on to the lands, we have Blooming Marsh. It's untapped unless it's your unless it's your 4th land. Same with Botanical Sanctum. They both add green, but they also can grab blue or black. Because this deck, all the cards except one of them has green in the cost. While yeah, so you're gonna need green for almost all your cards. So every single land adds green mana. Breeding Pool adds green mana, but it also can add blue. You have your forests, Overgrown Tomb. They can always add green. Yavimaya Coast can always grab green, but they're also of the other colors. I believe we have more blue than black because, or do we have? Yeah, we have more blue than black with Yavimaya Coast, and that's just due to the fact that we care more about being able to get our Neoforms off and our mirror images because the other cards, well, not Poison Tip really, unless you Chord of Calling, but like the Shaman of the Pact, we can just grab with a Collected Company or a Neoform if we have the blue. So if need be, blue can be more important. I know we do play the Poison Tip Archer, but chances are we're going to get all of our colors anyways, with the fact that green is always a must be. So we'll get green with Elvish Mystic and plus one of these. We'll go to our 3rd drop. Hopefully we can get like a Mirror Image or a Reclamation Sage or an Elvish Visionary or whatever we need to get. Sideboard. This sideboard isn't really actual sideboard. It's just some cards that I like to think that you'd probably put in the sideboard. Deathrite Shaman, 1 mana, 1/2 elf that can tap to exile target land card from a graveyard, and then it's a mana dork. Or for black, it can tap and exile target instant sorcery card from a graveyard. Each opponent loses 2 life. That's a good card. Or for green, you can tap and exile target creature card from a graveyard. You gain 2 life. One thing it's good against is the Phoenix decks. If you can get it off, like if you put it on the battlefield and they're going for the Phoenixes, you can just tap it and get rid of the Phoenixes, gain 2 life. It's very good there. Other than that, it also can gain life. I've never really got to play with Deathrite Shaman because it got banned and I believe like modern and everything. So I just know it's a good card due to the fact that it got banned. Without fetch lands in the format though, the adding the mana is not very efficient or not very reliable. But yeah, Thoughtseize, you can play this against like combo decks or decks that are gonna mess you up, try to throw them off their balance. There's just a lot of decks you'd want to bring this in against because it can stop them from winning the game for just 1 mana. Assassin's Trophy can just destroy any permanent and then give them a land. That's good. And then Driven to Despair is one of my favorite cards ever. So as a 2 mana sorcery for Driven, until end of turn, creatures you control gain trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. But you can also use the Despair part right afterwards, and also have until end of turn, creatures you control gain menace, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card. If you have 4 creatures out and you pay 4 mana, do this, and now they going to like block one of them, you're gonna like draw on 3 cards or end up discarding 3 cards, and that is such a great thing. But sometimes you won't ever see it happen, so it's just in the sideboard. You could put it in the main board just because it's such a cool card for this deck. And there wasn't an elf deck back when this was in standard, so there was no way to actually like there's no fair way to swarm out with green black in it. But yeah, in my opinion, this is a very because it's a toolbox deck in a way, because it has so many cards that can grab. It has 6 cards that can grab whatever you need almost all the time, except for the Neoform. It's an iffy card. Usually, if you have like a 1-drop and a 2-drop, you can go up to it. And then Collected Company, you're going to get your Poison Tip Archer if you need it off of a Neoform or Chord of Calling. You can get your Dwynen just because it's a good card. You can get your Reclamation Sage. You can get your Shaman of the Packs and Mirror Images for the Shaman of the Packs and stuff. And you can do it's you're gonna have so much decisions in this creature deck. It's gonna feel less like a creature deck and more like a combo deck because you get to pick what you put on the battlefield. Like when you're tutoring and like black and stuff, when you're trying to go off with like stuff like Bolas the Citadel and stuff. I really like that. It'd be really cool if I could run Bolas the Citadel in here. I mean, I could. I have black mana and I could run more black in it and then run some more Elvish Mystic kind of cards and then just go all out. But that isn't worth it for this format. You'd lose by then. But yeah, guys, this has been the Popper J MTG. If you'd like more tribal deck text for Pioneer, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.